Okay, welcome to 4.3. That we're going to be solving two-step equations, and we're gonna put all this stuff together. So here's what we're gonna do. Example 1. As always, we're going to rewrite the problem as it is. Make sure you don't forget any negatives. Those are always important. Okay, and then if you want, you can draw your line through the equal sign. Remember to keep your equal sign lined up with that line. Whatever you do on the left, you have to do on the right. That's the point of the line. Okay, so in two-step equations, we're just going to combine what we've done. So when we had some problems, let's just review what we've had. If we had x plus 3 is equal to 2, then we would subtract 3 from both sides. So we're always looking at the side with the variable, and what we want to do is get it by itself. So the number keeping me from doing that was this positive 3. The opposite operation or opposite of a positive 3 is minus 3. Positive 3 minus 3 becomes 0, allowing me to have x by itself, right? If I get rid of these 3's, you can't scratch them out, but that's essentially what I did by subtracting the 3. Then I'm left with just my x, and that's the whole point of solving equations. So now I have this right here, and I have a positive 2 and a negative 3. Until you get good at this, I highly recommend that you always think about the same signs add and keep, different signs subtract whenever you are adding and subtracting. Also, don't forget, when you're multiplying and dividing, one negative is negative, two negatives is positive. So adding and subtracting, sing the song. Multiplying and dividing, one negative is negative, two is positive. It's extremely important. Most mistakes in algebra are not about understanding what to do, but about messing that up. Okay, so we've got this problem here. Let's take a look. Okay, so we've got negative 3x plus 5 equals 2. Okay, so I am immediately going to look at my variable. Now I've got this pesky negative 3 and this plus 5 that I need to get rid of to have an x by myself. That's the whole point. I want to get x by itself. So which one do I do first? And the answer is you always take care of the constant first. Mrs. Taylor likes to say, keep the love bubble together until the end. I always have to give her the credit on that one because that's definitely not my definitely not mine. But anyway, you always want to keep this together until the end. So we're going to start with the constant, and then we're going to take care of this. So let's do that. So we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. Those go away, and I am left with negative 3x. And I have 2 minus 5, or positive 2 and a negative 5, different signs subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger number, then you'll be exact, okay? So now I've got the negative 3x, 3 times x is a better way to say it, equal to negative 3. So the opposite of negative 3 times x would be divided by negative 3. So instead of times negative 3, we're dividing by negative 3. And those go away, becoming 1. And the same thing on the right side. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 is positive 1. So we have x is equal to 1, and we're done. Okay, so let's move on. X divided by 8 minus 1/2 is equal to negative 7/2. Notice I rewrote the whole problem as it is. We're going to add 1/2 to both sides because I'm taking care of my constant first, okay? And let's see. So these go away. X divided by 8 is equal to, now we've got to sing the song again. We're adding or subtracting. So different signs subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger number. Well, that one's bigger. 7 minus 1 is 6/2. Or we could actually, let's just go ahead and erase that. Negative 6/2 is the same thing as negative 3. And now x divided by 8. So what's the opposite of divided by 8? Times 8. Those cancel, leaving me with x is equal to negative 3 times 8, which is negative 24. So one step at a time, but we're going to have two steps here. this one's a little different two-step equation because we have to do something first. So if you notice, we have multiple y's. So we have 3y minus 8y equal to 25. Rewriting the equation, draw the line. Okay, so we have to combine like terms first. Hopefully you were thinking that because it says combine like terms. So we're adding and subtracting. So when we add and subtract, we sing the song, right? So we have a positive 3y and a negative 8y. Different signs subtract. 8 minus 3 is 5. Keep the sign of the bigger number. And then I am exact. And now negative 5 times y. So the opposite of negative 5 times y is divided by negative 5. So those cancel and become 1. Y is equal to 25 divided by 5. Now I'm dividing, so I'm not singing songs. It's 1 negative is negative, 2 is positive. So we have a negative 5 because 25 divided by 5 is 5, and we had 1 negative. All right, feel free to pause the video and look at the one below where they do it themselves. Just another combining like terms, only they combined with fractions. And now let's look at a real life problem. So you install an invisible fence. Fence is always perimeter. I always say if you're thinking of a yard, think of the fence as the perimeter and the grass as the area. So all along the outside, we're installing this fence. The width of the yard is 100 feet. So width is here. They've already diagrammed it for us here. What is the length? Okay. So basically, we have a problem where we have to use a formula, right? So our perimeter of a rectangle is equal to 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Okay, check on your sheets. If you didn't know that, but it's obvious because we have this side, this is L. We have another side just like it with this L, so we have 2 L's. We have 100 over here, and we have 100 down here, which is 2 widths of the exact same size. That's what makes it a rectangle. So perimeter is equal to 2L. We're going to keep that because we don't know what L is, but we do know that the width is 100, so 2 times 100. So we would actually want to substitute in. Don't forget to put it in parentheses when multiplying. So 2 times 100 is 200, and we end up with so we're actually, this is the point where we wanted to go ahead and substitute, just to save a line. We want to substitute in this 500 feet of fencing around the perimeter. So P here, perimeter is 500, and I have 2L plus 200. Okay, so what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to get L by itself. So what's the first thing I need to get rid of? I need to get rid of, in order to get L by itself, I need to get rid of the pesky 2 and the pesky positive 200. Hopefully you remember that we're going to get rid of the constant or the number by itself first, and then deal with this, the love bubble. I don't know where she got that, but she has always got the little things that help you remember things. Okay, so 200 minus 200. 500 minus 200 is just different signs subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger number, or just 500 minus 200. But I do want you to keep in mind, just get in the habit of, add, subtract. I have to sing the song because those are 90% of the mistakes I see all the way through high school are have to do with the negatives being mistaken or adding when you're supposed to subtract, or vice versa. Okay, so we now need to get rid of this 2. So this is multiply, so what is the difference of times? L times 2 would be divided by 2. And 2 over 2 is 1, right? And we want 1L. We want to know what 1L equals. 1L equals 150 because 300 divided by 2. So these L's equal 150. Okay, and what's cool is we could easily check ourselves because we've got 2 times 150, which is 300. 300 plus 200 is 500, and that's what we wanted because there's our perimeter. All right, see you guys next time.